There are not a lot of creative people coming out of Harvard. Even thinkers don't come out of Harvard.
Then don't go to Harvard.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Education is a huge topic that you always go over.
Yeah, it is, but I was just thinking systems have to change in the US as well.
What must be done to revamp this whole system?
That's a very big question, and it leads to first you have to answer other big questions. Like, what is the purpose of education? Well,
Yeah.
what is the purpose of society? Because
Deeper rooted questions.
yeah, like education is to prepare or fit students to the society. What does the flourishing of the society look like? And so we need a model. Is New York City the model, or Bangkok, or Seoul, or if we have an end goal in mind, we can figure out the rest.
You experienced America, you experienced Boston, Harvard, you experienced some Korean education before you came to America, and you've also experienced Cambodia while teaching there. What do you think based on all three?
I think Korean and Cambodian education focus more on rote learning and like repetitive sort of learning.
주입식 교육.
Yeah.
Yeah.
American high school English education is modeled after academia, even literary analysis. That's just what English professors like to do. But we don't really need English high schoolers to do literary analysis. That's not the most important thing about engaging with literature or language skills or engaging with culture.
Day-to-day communications.
Yeah, you should teach emotional intelligence rather than techniques of how to write a good play or poem or essay. I mean, those are important skills, but that's a technical, specialized skill. Emotional intelligence is more you need it for everyday life.
Exactly. So you're saying that the education system could be more tangible, for lack of better words, realistic, applicable, rather than academia, dry hard academics?
Yeah, rather than modeled after academics.
Oh, what happened?
It should be based on the student's interest and abilities of the student. I mean, I've read more than the average person about education. Oh man, I don't know where to start. Just read Summerhill by A.S. Neal. And there's some other good people that you should read. John Dewey, and I think it's Herman Harold Horn. He's also good. It should be the student's interest. So if you're not interested in math, you shouldn't be forced to learn math.
Yeah.
Unless you have a goal, like you want to be a doctor and you need a certain level of math, then you'll learn math because you have a reason to learn it. That's like John Dewey's thing. You have a teacher or a system of education has to show the student that it's a concern of theirs that they should learn. They have to be invested, or else there's no point to learning. And Herman Harold Horn says the teacher's job is just to motivate, and it's only personality, charisma, that's 90% of the work. It is who you are as a teacher. The job of the teacher is just to make the subject as interesting and compelling as possible.
It's up to the student to choose what they really want to study and
But to teach themselves.
yeah.
The learning happens on your own, and the teacher just kind of motivates you.
Because the student has to be engaged, like wanting it him or herself as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There has to be a reason to learn.
Yeah. Some willpower to curiosity, like intellectual desire. But oftentimes it's forced upon students just because I need to get the grade.
Curiosity, it's kind of overrated. It's the status quo, and I don't know if I'm right, but
Don't you need a sense of curiosity to, and even exposure to that subject, at least to know if you want it or not? Up to elementary level or even middle, I think it can be open field general education, multiple fields, and then they can make the decision to specialize. What do you think about that?
so it could be the opposite. There's another model where you allow the student to follow their interest until like 16, 17, 18. Right? If you want to do crafts. If you want to do sports, do sports.
Oh, just choose one path and just go all at it.
Be free.
Be free about
free,
it.
yeah.
Without any exposure to other fields.
Exposure if you want.
Only if you want.
Yeah, it has to be your initiative. If by age 16, 17, 18, your goal is to go to college, then yeah, you have to do the math, but then you'll choose that on your own. Because let's say you want to be a doctor,
Then you want to be going to a college and
Yeah.
graduate.
and then like you
Get a
take the
degree.
SAT, college entrance exams.
Nice.
So that's the whole premise of Summerhill. And there was some follow-up of the students, what happened to them, what is the effect of this kind of education, and it turns out that they all agree that they had a thirst for knowledge and learning, and that they all had a great time at that kind of model. And then it seemed like most of them went into creative fields, like acting or some kind of craft. And some people were doctors and academics. And some people became manual labor workers or low-income workers. 'Cause it didn't quite prepare them for the world, which is so different from completely free school setting. You're given freedom to explore anything you want.
Yeah.
So maybe the best model is that kind of freedom and enabling the students to explore while preparing them for the world.
Sounds like the outcomes are very similar though. What you described was if you're in such a free setting, yeah, people turned out to be creatives as well as like doctors and academics. Also even low paid workers like manual laborers. That sounds very similar to the current system we have right now, right?
I don't know, like if you look at Harvard, for example, there are not a lot of creative people coming out of Harvard because people are only pursuing the set path, like I said, tech, consulting, investment banking, grad school. So yeah, even thinkers don't come out of Harvard. They come out of smaller schools that have more freedom and a better culture. If you want to be an original thinker, like, don't go to Harvard College.
Yeah. If you want to be like that bird, just very free and creative, just walking past human beings without fear, then don't go to Harvard. Yeah. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Look at that birdie just...
Dude, that bird just wants to explore.
You want to be like that bird, exploratory.
Dude, that lady's kind of scared the bird though. Okay. He just went on his way.
Wow, dude, the fact that you said that's pretty game changing. I feel like.
Yeah. If you get to Harvard, it's almost already too late, because you've already been in this system that prioritizes the elite positions of society, and the arts is not elite at all. It's its own game. If anything, it's its own game against the elite. It's like anti-establishment. But Harvard, that's what elite colleges are for. It's to funnel people into the elite positions.
That's why I feel like those type of elite universities, if you look at the student body, a lot of the student body heritage is quote unquote like old money heritage, meaning their parents also went to Harvard. Their parents were also Ivy League graduates. Their parents are also working in those fields that's been working and that's been existing for the past century. I see that's a pattern.
Legacy.
Legacy. And even the college officially supports that legacy. Are your parents or any of your relatives from Harvard? Then they would take that into consideration for admission, right? Yeah. And even the whole donation system, bro. I think it's crazy how if your family donates a certain amount of money, like let's say
2.5 mil, I think,
that just becomes a free pass. I think that's really crazy in a society where a free opportunity is supposed to be the marker for success.
Well, I got full financial aid. In fact, in some semesters I was paid to go to Harvard. They paid me.
They paid you for the program for Germany and Austria and everything too.
They paid me for literally everything that I needed paying for and more.
Wow. So you're very grateful for that.
And that's partly because of the donations of these wealthy people. So
yes, that's a whole new perspective.
People who are in different circumstances are helped. So it's like a give and take.
With what you've enlightened me with, we don't necessarily have to feel persecuted just because we're not the ones who can afford 2.5 mil to just send our kids to Harvard. You're a beneficiary. You feel grateful.
I think most people would agree with me, but
but thanks for sharing that.
This is like a minority position.
Serves to show how the society rolls. 어떻게 사회가 돌아가는지. 어떤 이는 2.5mil 이렇게 줘서 갈 수도 있지만 어떤 이는 그렇게 베네핏을 받고 선순환, it's like a healthy cycle.
We have to be more precise about that. Maybe it's not possible to be precise about the whole effect of that. Culturally, it's just the way it is.
Very complicated. How can we take into account, like, I don't know how many factors, man. So many different factors.
People tend to emphasize just the unfairness of it, but there are some benefits as well.